Hello, this is Steve and this is my second Pac-Man video. The last one was all about patterns that you can remember. This is more about skill and expert technique to make you a proper Pac-Man expert. So the first thing that I want to cover with you is the 4 junctions, which are absolute lifesavers when it comes to playing this game. Each of the 4 junctions that are highlighted there with the orange square. They're all junctions where the ghosts never exit via the up direction. What this means is if you're being chased, like here, there's 3 ghosts chasing, you go up the top and the ghosts just go straight past. Every level, every maze, they never exit from the top on all 4 of those junctions. Here's an example of the red ghost chasing after us. You just move up in one of those junctions and then the red one goes straight past. Now of course you've got the light blue ghost chasing after you, but it's not a problem because all you do is go through another of the junctions, exit from the top, and that ghost wouldn't follow you. The 4 junctions combined with the ghost behaviour give you a strange hiding place bug, which means that if Pac-Man faces upwards, and you'll see why he has to face upwards later on in the video, but if he faces upwards and stays in that spot there, then all the ghosts completely lose track of him and they just go round and round and round but never find him. Brilliant if you need to pause the game if the phone rings. Okay, so now you know about the 4 junctions, let's have a look at the actual ghost behaviour. The ghosts are in 2 modes. They're either in chase mode or retreat mode. When the ghosts are in retreat mode, they head up to the corners like this, with the red in the top right, pink in the top left, and they go round and round, as highlighted here. So your blue ghost will just go round and round that bottom right hand corner until the game switches from retreat mode back into chase mode. Now the game starts briefly in retreat mode, so you'll see that as we start the game here, the red ghost heads up to the top right and the pink ghost heads up to the top left. During normal play, the ghosts rarely change direction 180 degrees on themselves. They normally go round and round the blocks. So you can tell when the game changes from retreat mode into chase mode because the ghosts do change direction and go back on themselves like that. So that's now we're in chase mode. The ghosts are going to be heading towards Pac-Man. Watch the red ghost here. They're currently in chase mode. We're doing it in slow motion, and then you will see that all the ghosts there just suddenly changed direction, all came back on themselves, so we know we're in retreat mode, all heading back into their respective corners. So we'll start the game again, and now we're in retreat mode. Watch the red ghost change direction. Now we're in chase mode, so the ghosts are coming back towards you. We're going to use the hiding place bug to watch the ghosts' behaviour a little bit, because while they're in chase mode, they're now trying to find Pac-Man. They've got target locations that they're all heading towards, but as you can see the red ghost is never going to go up from that junction we looked at before, so that's why none of the ghosts actually get as far as getting to Pac-Man. Now we're in retreat mode, so you can see they go back into the corners. Now we're back in chase mode again. And the game will alternate between chase and retreat mode as you go. So let's have a look at the way that the ghosts actually chase Pac-Man, because each of the 4 ghosts has its own behaviour and it has its own way of finding Pac-Man. They call them the personalities of the ghosts. Now by far I would say the hardest ghost to shake off is the red one, which is called Shadow, and you'll see why when we look at the way that the 4 different ghosts behave. But Shadow is the hardest one, so let's see what's going on here. At the moment we're in retreat mode, and now we're in chase mode, so they're all heading towards us. So right now each of the 4 ghosts has its own destination target that it's trying to get to on the maze. Now the target is related to where Pac-Man is. So let's just zoom in on this bit. The red ghost is currently trying to head towards its target tile, and the red target tile is actually Pac-Man himself, like that. So at this junction what's happening is the game is trying to work out which is the shortest distance between the red ghost and Pac-Man. Now the red ghost could go round where the power pill is, or it could come straight down, or it could go upwards. but it's working out the shortest route, which is going to be straight down. So whenever the ghosts are in chase mode, the red one is always headed straight towards Pac-Man. So he's going to move downwards, and there we go. So that's the hardest ghost to avoid because he's always on your tail. But this one, Pokey, the brown ghost, is basically exactly the same, but with a difference. Now watch how we have the whole group following us, and then we just fake out the brown ghost and he goes off in a different direction. So what's different in the behaviour? Well, it's because, as before, there's a target dot, and as before, the target dot is slap bang in the middle of Pac-Man. But when the ghost gets within 8 squares of Pac-Man, his target changes to be the bottom corner on the left hand side, which is the same as the retreat square that we saw earlier. So what you can see here is the brown ghost at the bottom starts to move up towards Pac-Man. He's heading him off, and then suddenly he gets so close to Pac-Man that he changes direction and goes off to the right. Now he's outside of 8 squares distance, so he's heading back towards Pac-Man. And that's the brown ghost. He's constantly changing between heading straight for you and changing direction. So Speedy, the pink ghost, is the next one. And Speedy's behaviour, again, as we can see at the moment, is in retreat mode. And then, as he starts to head towards us, the pink ghost's target square is 4 squares ahead of Pac-Man in whatever direction he's facing. So he's got a really good opportunity now to eat Pac-Man by turning right, but because his target square is to the left, he's going to go to the left and Pac-Man's going to escape. Like that. Now the square that is the target for the purple ghost is always 4 squares ahead. So if Pac-Man's facing to the right, it's 4 squares to the right. If Pac-Man's facing to the left, it's 4 squares to the left. The only exception to this is based on a curious little bug in the game, which is when Pac-Man is facing upwards, because then the target square also becomes 4 squares to the left. So you can see that the target square is now actually to the left of the ghost pen. So let's have a look at that hiding place. Now we know about 3 ghost behaviour. You can see that the red ghost is going round and round and round, but he's never going to go upwards at that junction to eat Pac-Man. They're now in retreat mode, so they're heading back to the different corners. And now they're in chase mode again. The pink ghost is heading towards the target square on the left hand side of the ghost pen, so he just goes round and round. And the brown ghost goes towards Pac-Man, but then when he gets within 8 squares, changes direction and goes away. So you can see how the behaviour of those 3 ghosts is actually keeping Pac-Man safe in the hiding place. So we've only got one more ghost to look at, and that's the light blue ghost, known as Bashful. He's an absolute nightmare, and there's a reason why I left this one to the end, because it's just impossible to work out while you're actually playing. Basically, there's a target square, as before, and this time the target square is 2 squares away from Pac-Man in the direction Pac-Man is facing. Now, that's not the square that the light blue ghost is going to head towards. That's actually just a marker square, and the system's going to work out the target square by drawing a straight line between the red ghost and the marker square. Then you double the length of that line, and the target square for your blue ghost is at the end of the double length line. So with the red ghost and the blue ghost constantly moving and Pac-Man constantly moving, I don't think there's any way you can actually work out where the target square is for the light blue ghost and play Pac-Man at the same time. But maybe other people can, but I certainly can't. So that's it. You've got the junctions that'll keep you safe. You've got the 4 behaviours of the 4 different ghosts. Hopefully that will help you on the way to having incredible Pac-Man scores. You'll be able to play it for hours. Hope this video is useful. This helps you become a real Pac-Man expert. Till next time, bye.